Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live lighting critique. I also have a big announcement. It's something I've been working on for a very long time, and I'm very, very excited about it. I realized when I typed this up in the chat, it might sound a little bit over dramatic, but basically, I have a new job at Blue Sky Studios. I've been working at Blue Sky for 12 years now, so the company isn't new, but the job is very different, and I'm very excited about that. I am going to be running a new training department at the studio for all the artists, all the production management. We are going to be, yeah. So I don't want to tell you too much about what's going on with it just because we're still figuring it out, but I am extraordinarily excited. I love this industry. I love teaching. I love everything about it. And this is a dream come true. So right now we're doing interviews to hire people to fill all the positions of the team. And it's a really exciting time, but I wanted to keep you guys in the loop. So if you see my job title change from senior lighting artist to manager of the training department, that's what's going on there. So I'm extremely excited. But don't worry, I'm still going to be doing this because this is just more of what I love doing. So I'm, like I said, extraordinarily excited and grateful for the opportunity. Now let's get into some critiquing. All right. So as always, we've got our Facebook Live going on right now. It's Monday, so we're doing that. Feel free to add your questions, comments in the section below. I will be circling back and taking a look at those. Additionally, I will be, additionally, I will be posting this on YouTube, so add your comments down below. We've got lots and lots of stuff to go through today. We also have some questions. So there was actually some really good questions going on that I wanted to address. So we've got two of them. Number one, William asked about organizing your reference images, and there were two really great suggestions. Just because I've always done them kind of in I guess you call them dumb folders, like basically just on Flickr or in the file system or Pinterest or something along those lines. But a couple people have suggested either using, what was the service called? Oh, there's a How to Geek article called How to Tag a File on Windows for Easy Organization. So you can do multiple tags for different files. The other one was a program called PureRef, P-U-R-E-R-E-F. And I think that might be a really good option for you. I just barely looked into it, so don't hold me to that. But it's a really cool idea. The other question was about, so we've got our compositing courses, and there was questions about whether or not there'd be lessons in stereo compositing and deep compositing. There can be, and that kind of leads me to my next one. So in whatever platform that you're looking at this on, I'm going to be sending out a survey, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow, just asking what do you want to learn next? And because I'm going to dedicate some time. Basically, my two kids under 2 that I've been trying to balance at home are slowly getting back into school, and hopefully that frees up some time on the weekends or like in the evenings and some other times for me to be able to start recording some new coursework. So I want to know what you guys want to learn, what you're struggling with. That's actually the big question we're looking for. Like, what are you struggling with right now? So we'll be sending out a survey, so be on the lookout for that. Okay. Enough house cleaning. Let's get to some critiquing. All right, Donika, you're up first. So the Poker Puss challenge wrapped up last week, but we are still going strong with the critiques because the images do not stop. Okay, so we have your Poker Puss here, and what I was toggling back and forth between, this is your previous version, your updated version. Good updates. I like some of what we're seeing. I like the darkening underneath if you look just like underneath this table, it's just like more cohesive. The darkening makes sense. It like now the tentacles align with the lightness on the bottom. Looking at the sand versus the horizon line, those are better positions, but I think we can push that further. So like the biggest one is the horizon line. Look at some reference. Like these really, really, really start to almost blend together out there. And there really is a fade up as we go back. It's nice what you've done. The color is good. but it's more like a haze that kind of overtakes it. And you'd want to use like a Z depth or an atmospheric fog or something like that in order to replicate that. This specular highlight on the octopus, I would take that down maybe like 30%, and you might need to take down the specular highlight on the eye there as well. And then I almost want to push and pull the values overall between the octopus and this foreground. So basically I want to take the octopus and like this area in here and move my microphone. And I want to brighten this up a little bit. My mouse. It's not so much taking down of the highlights. It's about like shifting this into a brighter range. And then just a little more contrast overall. Something a little bit brighter like that. And then taking all of this, let me just do it this way. Some of this around the edge. Okay, and then taking some of the foreground elements and darkening those. Actually, that looks pretty well if we do like that. Yeah, so basically, if you look, like the edges become darker. Let's make it more, just make it more a little bit exaggerated. Because I want these elements in the foreground to almost be like kind of so dark that they're almost just like, they're just framing elements. So now instead of that, we're looking at that. So it just kind of like zeroes us in. Do you see that? That's where I think I would take it next, and then taking down the highlight on the skin and getting that to kind of blend in. The other thing I wanted to mention as well was just the sand over here looks a little bit consistent, like it's pretty even in the sunlight here. It would be kind of cool because we've got the specular highlight there, which means the sun is coming in from this way. There was just like a little cast shadow from like a fake palm tree, just kind of like in this region here to help break that up. Just a thought there. Okay, so that's Donika. Let's just move along here. So Hana, very cool. This is from Blade Runner. I think that one of the things that's making the characters stand out a little bit from the green environment is the warmth on the skin. And what you're doing here is adding coolness in here. So I would just like warm a little bit of warmth on this and brighten it up a little bit. Like if you're comparing, like this is kind of our Ryan Gosling sphere. I think he is getting more light in the key region than we're seeing here. So just like a little bit more warmth and more key on that. And then if you look at, like, this is actually a really nice replication of what we should be seeing out of the coil. Well, two things about the coil. Number one, I probably placed it incorrectly. So if you could just like lower it down, that would be great. And then also if you can get just like a little bit of rim light kind of coming down here, similar to what we're seeing like hitting the edge there. I think that, and also like these pipes, just like the pipes are getting little bits of rimming in there. I think that would be very cool. But overall, like your colors are looking nice. These look great. Like that looks really pretty back there. A little noisy, but not too bad. I'm not worried about that right now because it's more just about like the aesthetics. It's really getting more key light, yeah, on the front of them, on this one in particular, just so we can read that up a little bit more. Welcome to the group, Nick. Excited to have you here. This is a great shot from Ratatouille. I liked your breakdown. I thought it was really great. I love the putting him out of focus so we can make sure to focus back here. It's also a matter of like, how do we get him to read off from the environment is keeping him on his hero blue color while everything else back here falls into warmer tones is really nice. And then it's also important to point out, like when you do stuff like this, you generally render these as two separate renders. And then, you know, one is the TV screen, and then you can add all of this like grid pattern on top of it. You can add like little bits of light shimmering there, a little bit of reflection and everything else. But generally speaking, you do two separate passes at it and then piece them together in the comp. All right, Shane. All right, cool example here. We got the reference as well. Really nice that you're matching up the reference so well. Biggest thing I want to do is just push it. Like what we're seeing here is a lot of glowiness behind the hand, which is allowing the hand to be silhouetted. And I want to just see like more of that. So there's just more of like a haze glow back behind it if we can, and that way allow the dark values of the hand to pop forward. And then more importantly, I want to see more of this light shining onto the back wall and falling off as we go across, like similar to what we're seeing in the reference here. Like look how bright it is on the bookshelf back there, and then like falling off in either direction. This is nice, this warm light kind of coming in here and hitting his rim side. It would be nice if we saw like a little pocket of like that warm light, like the candle doesn't have to be on screen, but seeing that there, and then having that kind of reference in a little bit more as a rim light and less as like a fill. Because you can see in this, like this light is getting to here, and then this section in the middle is going dark, and then that's going to be a rim. So what you want to do is like this bright, this area in here dark, and then it's just rim light along the side. And then lastly, I think that's a pretty good start for now, but it's just, yeah, but like looking at the value or the luminance of the background, just get it more light in here with fall off to darkness in the middle there, because it's getting away from the light sources. But good stuff there. Stan, very cool reference. I'm going to go with this one because this one feels a little bit better to me because there's just the overall haze on it. I think you can go, I still think you can go a little bit like stronger with the haze. And I'm not gonna get on you about this, but it's a little just catching my eye that they're like, I want these to be a little bit brighter at the source here. It also feels like they're going over top of the scaffolding there. And I just kind of want it to be like, it just feels like it's kind of creating like a purple thing. But basically I just think you can push more of the haze on there. So like really set, because like right now, like these guys aren't looking that different than those in the foreground, and you should start to see like more of a step up of that. So increasing that by like double would really help that out a lot. All right, Tyler. Good stuff here. Again, with the poker puss, so when I was looking at this leading up to this, I was just thinking that there was just like a lot going on. And I want to find a way to simplify it and really get us to focus in on the character, because it's like we're getting pulled back in here a little bit. There's just like a lot of small shapes going on. And I almost wonder if we shouldn't allow this further background area to go a little bit darker to get him to read off. And then also to really emphasize up that he's being lit from the underside, because he's getting a lot of light from the top and around the sides. Let's really play off the underlighting on this. And like the way that, this is getting light here and over here and over here. Like, let's just play that it's coming like all of this light here can just be, can be taken down, and everything's being more focused on what's coming up from underneath. The caustics are good. I think for the next iteration, let's pull back on those for now, just to, like, we can subtly put those in a little bit, because right now, again, on the face and stuff, it's just adding a lot of visual complexity. And I would almost, like, I would almost try turning this guy off. Just get rid of him for now. Just because it's kind of, it's tough for two reasons. One, it's occupying a good amount of screen space. Two, in order for this to be like a light source, it really needs to be like a lot brighter. Like, we wouldn't see any of these dark, like, noise pattern shapes in it. It would just be like blowing up bright. Because now, again, it's like now we just have like a lot of competing light sources. With the glow up from underneath, we've got whatever this light source is, and then this guy. So it's just kind of overcomplicating it. Let's just simplify just a touch, and then we'll see the next iteration from there. William, thank you for posting your reference. I appreciate that. This is a good update. I think that we're in a pretty good spot here. I just think the only thing that I would do just a little bit more brightness down here. So it makes it feel like he's leading into something. That was a terrible arrow. There we go. Leading into something. And that would be a little bit helpful. Also, it feels like overall, it feels a little blurry. And I thought that might be low res, but just to double check, like he feels like he's out of focus. So just double check your focal range and make sure that he's crisp and everything else is falling out of focus around it. But this is a really good job. Alfredo, yes. I should have started with this one. This is our next lighting challenge. Super duper duper cool stuff, man. Really, really fun. I didn't know this guy had a dog. It just makes him scarier now. I love your initial setup. I would do a few things. I like the haze of the headlights. I want them to kind of shoot out a little bit more, and that'll create more of like a haze down here, which will allow these dark values to pop up a little bit. I love, like, this is how you do a bright element, by the way, like bright on the edge, like getting flicks of it all over the place, really hitting that rim. That the eyes are still reading really well. The bigger, I would focus on a couple things. One, let's really isolate it to just the porch. Eliminate it from up here, especially all the way up here. I guess, see, but like this is reading as up underneath. I guess it could be like light glowing from the inside, question mark? Not sure. Like over here, you see it popping through. Over here, you see it popping through. I really just want to isolate it to this region. That way you can allow all of this to get dark and really get in there. This is cool back here. Spatially, I feel like this is more in the foreground. I'm confused because like this feels a little out of focus. This feels in focus. That feels out of focus. I'm not quite sure where these are living in the space. These feel like they're closer to the camera and therefore should be out of focus. I love the little bits of blue light that we're getting, like the up on the shingles and up around there. Really, really, really good stuff. But that would be my big takeaway was just like too much bleed on the orange, darken around here. Get some more variation in the sky, maybe. Like it's nice that it's varying down here, but get like a little bit of touch more as you're going across. Maybe I would make it darker over here to allow it to go like brighter that way. And then if you can, check out some reference on how headlight shape is on the ground. There's like a very specific like kind of pattern that it would be kind of cool to mock up down there. But really, really cool stuff, man. Good progress here, Ashley. It looks like you're going a little bit darker, a little bit more nighttime out here, or dusk-ish, because we're not seeing like this type of brightness out there, which is nice. So I guess that means that the light coming in now is an artificial light source. And if that's the case, I would like to see it take hold more on the table, because like the way that you do lighting in a restaurant is to kind of like in an actual restaurant, remember restaurants when we used to have those, is that they will shine down and kind of create like these pocketed areas for people to be in, whether they be tables or like in this case bench seating or a bar. And I see a lot of light like hitting their hands and the coffee cup in here, but just like it's just not reading on the table as much. This is nice on them. He's got some like weird reflection thing going on there. It's nice on his hair. But that being said, there's a lot of contrast between what's happening here and then these fill values. I guess we're seeing that there. All right, I'll let that one be. But this light back here is a little bit bright. This one here. So I would say the biggest ones is if this is artificial light shining down, make sure we're seeing it in other places, like especially the environment. If it's outside light coming in, make sure it's like we're seeing it more on the environment. So one of the two things there. You know what? I would still lower like maybe up the fill a little bit in here to kind of get this to read in a little bit more. Watch out for whatever is going on right on the bridge of his nose there. And we can do some eye adjustment stuff later, but I want to get this that stuff really working in place. Yeah, you know what? Instead of fill light, it might just be like a little bit more bounce light coming in here on them. And then this is a little bright back here. Keep the super brights on the inside of them because you really want all of the attention to be here to here. Yeah, I think that's good for the next iteration. And then let's see, is this the last one? Let me get my thing out of the way. Yeah, Dani. Last iteration. Cool stuff with the windows. That certainly helps out a lot. Looking at the reference, you see it in like some pockets here, but some of them aren't showing a lot of reflection. So it's almost like the way that we're like uniformly seeing them up in here, and especially this side. It may not quite be right. And also you're doing a thing where it looks like you're mixing the reflections with like lights being on in there. I would really do one or the other, because if the reflections are going to be that bright, you wouldn't see the light behind them as much. And then I would fill these in just a little bit more. Again, like getting into some of these values as light's kind of bouncing around over there. I like the color of the ground. The warm light hitting there. I would say I would expect to see some more warm light, like just a lot more warm light bouncing up into some of these regions, like similar to like the way that we're kind of seeing it like hit this and then bounce up into here, or bounce up into here, bounce up into here. Like it's, I would expect to see just more like, because when the sun is that bright, I would just expect there to be more just like whoosh, like it kind of bouncing up and taking hold of the rest of the scene from underneath as well, because it's like it's really hitting that ground surface very hard. All right, so that's everyone for now. Let's see. Stop sharing. Let me hop on over to the Facebook Live window, see if we have any updates or anything. Oh, there's. All right. So I think that's it for today. Again, if you all have questions, make sure you guys throw them in the chat window down below. As this video is posted, like I said, I'll also post the YouTube video as well, which will be a little bit higher quality. The Facebook Live kind of filters it a little bit. I hope they don't hear me say that, because they'll just block me from doing it again. But let me know if you guys have any questions, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. All right. Happy lighting, everybody.